This is the unforgettable story of Stingy Odogwu, a man who wore gold on his wrist but poured water in his family's cereal, a man who owned houses he never lived in, yet his children wore torn slippers and trekked to school. He believed in storing up treasure for the future, forgetting that the future begins today. Let this story remind us. A candle kept in a box can't light a room, and a heart closed to love is just a vault full of dust. Once upon a time, in the grand, high-end estate of Emerald Gardens, where wealth sang from marble walls and luxury cars hummed like lullabies, there lived a man known not by his given name, but by the infamous title, Stingy Odogwu. His real name, Anthony Wilson, but not a soul remembered it. Anthony Wilson had made it. A multi-millionaire with real estate holdings across the country, offshore accounts that only he could trace, and properties in major cities. He believed in the future like a religion. Every kobo, every naira was to be saved, invested, or locked away in assets. The future, he always chanted, like a broken record. Meanwhile, the present for his family was a daily affliction. His wife, Gloria Wilson, a beautiful and gentle woman, wore clothes older than their marriage. Their children, Emma and Michael, trekked to school, yes, on foot, rain or shine, despite their father owning 4 vehicles that gathered dust in the garage like museum exhibits. The mansion they lived in was a facade. Inside, the furniture was worn and creaked like they were mourning. The kitchen often echoed with hunger instead of the sizzling aroma of meals. Gloria had become a shadow among the other women in the estate. Mrs. Gregory, wife of Chief Gregory, always teased her, "Gloria, my dear, I have new lace material from Dubai. Let me give you some of my old ones so you can at least shine at the women's meeting." Others whispered, "Nah, she marry ATM way no day dispense." Some even called Anthony, the Pharaoh of Pocket, Lord of Budget, and most hilariously, Uncle Tomorrow, because he always said, "We will do it tomorrow." Gloria often wept in silence. Her children resented their father. Emma once said, "Mummy, is Daddy allergic to love?" Michael, only 9, asked once if his father was a vampire saving for his next life. In the same estate, men like Mr. Collins, Mr. Bartholomew, and Sir Richard were known for their generosity. They paid school fees for the poor, sponsored youths abroad, built community halls, and donated to the church. When people saw them, they stood in admiration. Mr. Collins' wife had a driver, cook, and a personal shopper. Sir Richard threw a surprise birthday party in Dubai for his wife. And there was Gloria, who once fainted in church from hunger. Her neighbors whispered, "Nah, hunger from investment to her." Then came Father's Day, a day marked with grandeur in the town. An open event was organized at the city stadium. 10 wealthy men from Emerald Gardens were invited. The theme was Fathers of Impact. Each man was handed a large, white candle. The host, an eloquent speaker, announced, "Before us are 10 fathers. If their love, care, and presence have ever touched your life, if you have been affected positively by them, come forward and light their candle." A gentle gasp rippled through the crowd. One by one, people stepped out. For Mr. Collins, a flood of people surged forward. His wife, children, former scholarship students, even strangers he had once helped. They said, "You paid for my surgery. You built the school in my village. You helped me during the lockdown. Tears and applause followed. His candle burned bright, as the third wealthy man, Mr. Bartholomew, stepped forward with his tall, proud frame and kind eyes. His wife practically danced to the stage. Her name was Cynthia, beautiful, elegant, and dramatic in the best possible way. She snatched the mic with flair, winked at the audience, and cleared her throat like a seasoned performer. Then she began, "Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to light this candle for the love of my life, my sugar-coated yam, my original bank without ATM charges." The crowd burst into laughter. "This man right here is not just my husband, he is my personal person, my walking wallet of wisdom, the only man who can remember our wedding anniversary, my blood tonic when I'm tired." Mr. Bartholomew stood there blushing like a teenage boy. The audience was loving it. He is the only man who can fry plantain without eating any, the chairman of surprise gifts, the commander-in-chief of my happiness. People clapped and cheered. When I had malaria, he slept beside me like a thermometer. When I cried, he became my tissue. When I smiled, he became my mirror. This man is my sunrise and my dessert after jollof rice. Laughter rang across the stadium like church bells. Then she held his face in her palms and whispered into the mic. "Bartholomew Chukwudi Jefferson, my love, if I am a song, you are the sweet lyrics. May God bless you for making my life a first-class journey. I love you forever." As she lit his candle with tears in her eyes and smiles on her lips, the crowd gave a standing ovation. Even Stingy Odogwu's mouth hung open. He whispered to himself, "Blood tonic, walking wallet, sunrise and dessert, chai," and slowly looked away, feeling a pang of what he had never received. The next man was Mr. Harrison, the fourth wealthy man, a jovial, humble, and widely respected businessman known for sponsoring scholarships, repairing the local roads, and helping widows set up businesses. As he stepped forward, his three children, Daniel, Jessica, and little Caleb, rushed to the stage, their faces glowing with pride. Daniel, the eldest, took the mic and said, "Good evening everyone. That man standing there is not just our father, he's our superhero without a cape." The crowd smiled warmly. Jessica added quickly, "He's the reason I'm in medical school. When I got scared of failing," he said, "even if the world calls you average, you're exceptional to me." The audience responded with a soft "awe." Then little Caleb, barely 6, snatched the mic and shouted, "My daddy is stronger than Hulk, smarter than Iron Man, and he buys me pizza on Tuesdays." Laughter erupted like fireworks. Daniel continued, "When Mummy had nothing, he gave her everything. When we were sick, he became a nurse. He is our ladder." Jessica chimed in again, "Daddy doesn't just provide money. He provides laughter, peace, and bedtime hugs, even when he's tired." Caleb held up a small candle and whispered, "This candle is for you, Daddy. I love you to Jupiter and back." The children lit his candle together, and the crowd clapped so hard the sound bounced off the walls. Even some of the organizers were dabbing their eyes. Stingy Odogwu shifted in his chair again, fighting back a strange sensation in his chest. "Jupiter and back, ladder, Hulk," he murmured, adjusting his tie and blinking hard. As the applause from the children of Mr. Harrison slowly faded, the host's voice echoed again. "Would any family member like to say a word about Mr. Harrison?" Suddenly, A group of well-dressed men and women began making their way to the stage, his brothers and sisters. There were 5 of them in total, smiling through tears, and walking like royalty, not because they were born with silver spoons, but because one man had placed those spoons in their hands. The eldest among them, a gentleman in a grey suit, stepped forward and spoke first. "Ladies and gentlemen, our parents died when we were still struggling in the dark. We had no compass, no map. But this man, Mr. Harrison, became everything to us. He was our father, our mother, our mentor, our roof when life rained on us." The next sibling, a woman in her early 40s, took the mic, her voice shaking with emotion. "When I couldn't afford school fees, he paid for my university and still sent me pocket money with sweet notes like, 'Eat something delicious today. The world is already too bitter.'" Laughter and soft ahs floated through the audience. Another sister stepped forward, eyes shining. "He taught us how to dream beyond our background. He said, 'Your last name is not a limit, it's just a starting point.' He bought me my first sewing machine. Today, I run a fashion house that's now sponsoring others. All because of him." Then the youngest brother, with a confident grin, said, "I used to hawk pure water. Today I own a bottled water company. Do you know how? Because this man told me, don't sell drops, own the river." The crowd erupted in applause. Then they all gathered around him, placing their hands on his shoulders. One of the sisters said with pride, "Harrison is not just our brother, he is our destiny helper, our light in the tunnel, our elevator in a building full of broken stairs." They lit his candle together, not just with fire, but with love, gratitude, and the warmth of 1,000 memories. Even the host had to wipe his eyes. In the back, Stingy Odogwu's mouth was open again. "Elevator in a building full of broken stairs," he repeated, dazed. "How do people even say these sweet things?" Then came the moment everyone had been secretly anticipating. The host cleared his throat dramatically and called out, "Mr. Odogwu, the 10th and final man of the hour." Spotlight swung to the side of the stage where Stingy Odogwu sat stiffly, legs tightly crossed, as if afraid someone would steal his socks. He rose slowly, his suit looking expensive but clearly never worn with joy. His face, always tight with seriousness, wore a forced smile like a man trying to swallow dry fufu without soup. The audience grew quiet. Odogwu marched to the stage, holding his unlit candle like a debt he wasn't ready to pay. He stood tall, eyes scanning the crowd, looking, waiting. The host raised the mic again and repeated the line, now familiar. "If you care, love, cherish, or if your life has been positively affected by this man, please come forward and light his candle." Silence. Pin drop silence. Even the air seemed to pause. A soft murmur spread across the hall. People turned to look left and right. No one stood. No one moved. Not even his wife. Odogwu's eyes widened. His fingers tightened around the candle. He looked to the side where his wife sat, head bowed, her face heavy with years of endurance. His 2 children, skinny, withdrawn, looking nothing like the lively kids before them, sat there, not even blinking. He cleared his throat and smiled nervously, as if expecting them to be planning a dramatic entrance. "Maybe they want to surprise me. Maybe they'll run in now." Still no one. A young boy in the crowd whispered, "Na that man way day price pure water like land paper." Another said, "Uncle tomorrow na him turn. Who go light? Maybe future go light am." Another added, "My mummy said he doesn't even buy meat, just smells soup from neighbors." Laughter broke out in corners, quickly stifled. The host, trying to stay professional, gave it one last try. "Once again, anyone?" Odogwu's face had lost its color. He looked like a statue carved from shame and regret. Still, no one moved. The contrast was glaring. 9 glowing candles, 9 men bathed in light and love. And then, one man standing alone, with a cold, unlit candle. He blinked rapidly. His throat moved, but no words came out. Slowly, he lowered his hand. He couldn't even pretend anymore. His lips trembled. The truth was bitterer than bitterleaf. He turned to step off the stage and stumbled. A gasp went through the hall. He caught himself but barely. He sat back in his seat like a man who had just been sentenced to loneliness. That night, Stingy Odogwu learned the greatest lesson of his life. He couldn't sleep. The silence in his mansion was loud. He called a meeting with the 9 other men. He humbled himself. "Gentlemen, I have lived like a king in ruins. I thought the future mattered more. I forgot the present feeds it." Mr. Collins smiled. "Tony, wealth without love is poverty in disguise." Mr. Bartholomew added, "Your family is your first charity. Don't save for the future and lose them in the present." Sir Richard said, "Today is the seed of tomorrow. You eat some, save some." Even God fed people daily in the desert. They educated him on kindness, balance, and the joy of giving. It wasn't about flamboyance. It was about being there. Odogwu started small. He took Gloria shopping. The kids got new bikes. He allowed the cook to prepare proper meals. He gave scholarships in church. Paid hospital bills. He smiled more. One evening, Emma hugged him tightly. "Daddy, I love this version of you. Can we keep him?" Michael asked. "Are you sure you're not a clone?" Gloria, she glowed again. At the next women's meeting, she wore a gown so fine, even Mrs. Gregory gawked. "Madam Gloria, you don't change stylist." From then on, he was called Odogwu Redeemed. He never missed another family dinner. He still planned for the future, but never again at the cost of the present. And Sir Anthony Wilson, the former Stingy Odogwu, learned that candles only light when hearts remember you kindly. And true wealth is measured in lives touched, not digits saved. The end. Thank you for watching. Please like and share your opinion on the comment section. Please remember to subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories. God bless you abundantly. Bye bye.